The Republicans have worked hard to convince Americans that they are the pro-military party, but a recent investigation has shown us that the Tea Party is using one of the largest pro-troop charities as their personal piggy bank. Joining me now to tell that story is David TeSelle. So, David, you have all these flag-waving, holy mouth, we love our troop types that now we find out are frauds. They've got fundraisers going on. Let's help our troops. And the Move America Forward is one story that has been really focused on. ProPublica has done some incredible investigative journalism on this story. It's nauseating. I mean, this story is nauseating.
Mike, first, thanks for having me. Yes, ProPublica has done some amazing work here, especially about Move America Forward. We're talking about a conservative Tea Party charity, and I use quotes around that, that was set up purportedly to help out the troops in Afghanistan, which is a great charity. It's a great cause if that's actually what's going on. But what we've learned is that some of these charities aren't actually being set up to actually do charitable work. They're actually being set up as covert PACs or as operations to actually raise money and to not really care about actually doing the charitable work that they claim that they're doing in their mailers and their emails and their commercials.
Well, David, don't people get prosecuted for stuff like this? I mean, they're out there saying, they're out there. This story that ProPublica did is almost, you have to read it twice to believe that this is actually going on. But they're taking money from charitable donors, and they're saying, we're taking your money and we're giving it by way of care packages, by way of a whole host of things we're doing for the troops in Afghanistan.
It's incredible. You look at what happened in February of last year when they sent out a mailer, when they raised money, saying that they were raising money to send out care packages to 800 Marines in Afghanistan, the Geronimo 1st Battalion. And then they announced that they had been successful in doing so and that they had given all of these care packages away after raising all this money based upon these representations. And what ProPublica found was that these Marines weren't even in Afghanistan at that point in time. They were in Okinawa, Japan, 3,000 miles away. It's amazing. It's incredible. The fact that these charities are then sending out mailers that are saying, hey, look at what we're doing. Look at the thank you notes that we got. Look at the pictures that we've been sent from Afghanistan. And what ProPublica was able to do is go and find that those pictures, while they were legitimate pictures, were from 2004, 2003, 10 years ago, having nothing to do with the troops that they were supposedly raising money for, and nothing to do with these actual charities. And then ProPublica, as I know we're going to get into it, ProPublica looked even further as to who these charities are tied to. And they're tied to huge super PACs that are raising money for Tea Party and right-wing conservative groups.
Okay, so now we know the story now. We know that for example, I think they've raised, I think 2008 to 2012, they raised around $8 million.
Incredible.
About half of it came from something that's called the Troopathon. What is the Troopathon? It sounds like one of these, the son of Billy Graham going out on some of these fraud campaigns that we see.
It's crazy. I mean, remember, these charities have been able to get Dick Cheney and George W. Bush and George H.W. Bush to give testimonials and back them. But now they have this annual Troopathon that you're talking about. They just raised $300,000 from this in June of this year, where it's kind of like, if you remember the Jerry Lewis telethon, but they basically say they're raising a whole bunch of money for the troops in Afghanistan, and it's people like Ted Cruz, the senator from Texas, who are giving their endorsement to this type of stuff, and they get conservative leaning celebrities such as Gary Sinise, who came and he actually gave money and helped promote to raise this kind of money.
Gene Simmons, Sean Hannity.
Absolutely.
Well, it's not they're just giving them money. They're giving credibility to this organization that there's some serious questions about. Now, first of all, here's what's so terrible about all this. You have troops over there that are counting on a lot of this. In other words, you have troops that don't have any communication with anybody unless you have legitimate organizations doing the kinds of things that they should do. And if you listen to what these people's mission statement is, it is to try to give these troops something, a little bit of dignity in the way they live day to day by, giving them care packages, staying in touch with them, putting on programs for them of all kinds that make their lives better. And now we find out that if you believe the ProPublica story, that what's happening is this money is going through PACs. I mean, that are directly tied to the Tea Party Express. They're tied to Sal Russo.
Conservative Campaign Committee PAC, the Move America Forward Freedom PAC. I mean, they have the same address in Sacramento, California, as the charity itself, where the charity is paying 100%, $82,000 of rent. They're paying the full rent for that facility, and there is no record of these PACs ever paying any rent for the use of those facilities.
Okay.
I mean, let's be clear. Let's be clear about what we're talking about here. Charities in this country, perform an important function, especially for these troops, as you just said, Pap. These troops are dependent upon this for their services, for things for themselves, and we only allow tax-exempt status for charities based upon the fact that they're non-political, that they're raising money for a good cause, and that they will not share facilities and equipment and mailing lists and other assets with people that have political motivations instead of charitable ones.
Okay, let me tell you how crazy it is. Some of these stories are they're nauseating. I mean, you've got this care package, for example, it's supposed to have been put together, and their argument, the charity's argument, pay $25, and that $25 is going to go to putting items together for troops. Well, the truth is, most of the items are already donated, so there's no cost at all. The cost to package it is done by volunteers, and the overall cost at best is something between $11 and $12. But nevertheless, They're telling people you've got to pay $25, and then we don't know, of course, where the other money goes.
Well, we do know at least that some millions of those dollars have gone to Sal Russo, who's the person who's behind all of this, who put this together, and his firm, Russo, Marsh and Associates in Sacramento. That the individuals are making millions of dollars from this, but they also are entering into agreements with themselves and their cohorts in terms of processing payments. We don't have any information about where that money is actually going and how much is actually being paid for those kind of costs. But over 30% of this charity's expenditures are going to those people and to their cohorts. That's obscene.
There are organizations that rate charities, and I think that there's a rating system between 1 and 5, 1 to 4.
Right.
This one got zero.
Got zero from Charity Navigator.
What was the organization?
Charity Navigator. They got 0 out of 4 stars. Can you believe that?
Yeah, well, here's one of the reasons. I mean, ProPublica looked at this, and one of the scams they did is they sent out this mailer to where they were trying to tell people who donate, look at these pictures. We're unloading all of this great stuff for these soldiers. And frankly, the picture was completely a fraud. It was a picture of soldiers unloading a Chinook helicopter with military supplies, and they were telling the people, gee, if you give this money, this $25, this is going to help a troop. It's just it's an ugly scam.
They can't just do this once. It's kind of they're serial in terms of their misrepresentations. They have to do it over and over. My favorite that ProPublica overturned was the picture of the troops that were eating Oreos. And they said, look at these. The best Oreos come from our relief packages. And it turned out they stole that picture from Operation Oreo, from the Oreo company, who actually has their own and sends it out. It's actually incredible.
Move America Forward, the name of the organization. They have this thing called the Troopathon. Somebody needs to do some serious digging in all this, because as Ricky would say to Lucy, they got some splaining to do. All right, thanks, David. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Mike.
Just another story we shake your head and go, really? Yeah. All right, take care, man.
Great.